Hey everyone, and welcome to the first official episode of the 3M's podcast. I'm your host, Elise Sullivan, and in this episode, I'm going to be discussing the movie Unstoppable, starring Chris Pine and Denzel Washington. So I will be talking about my favorite parts of the movie and when I first watched it. This movie is about the efforts it took to stop the 777 train from causing mass destruction. So when I first started watching the movie was a couple years ago at my dad's house, and I first thought the movie was going to be really boring because I thought it was just going to be about some train on a railroad. But I was wrong, and it turns out that I loved it after seeing the movie. So one of my favorite things about this movie is how it's based on true events, and that there are multiple stories involved in the movie. For example, the story with the character Will and his family troubles with his wife and son, and also the character Frank with his family, and especially his two daughters. These two stories I enjoyed a lot, and they were very heartwarming, and they were part of my favorite parts, and also the main story was really good too. So one of my favorite scenes is when Frank and Will are in pursuit of the 777 train, and they're on the phone with Connie, who's the director of operations, and the head of the company. And the the head of the company tells them to stop their pursuit or they'll be fired. And they don't stop their pursuit and then pretend to have a bad connection and hang up. And then I find the scene really entertaining and pretty funny because they just ignored the guy completely and continued their pursuit. I also really like how Will and Frank were willing to put their safety and lives in danger to prevent a pretty big disaster. And then a couple other scenes I find funny are when it's at the beginning of the movie, before the train even goes off the track, the guy who's supposed to move it puts it in full gear and jumps out to do something, and he can't get back in the train, and it just goes right straight off the tracks. And then the other scene where they're trying to catch up with it to stop it, the welder and then the two guys are like chasing the train, but they can't catch up with it because they don't realize that it's going full speed ahead. And I just think that scene is pretty funny. And any scene with the welder and those two guys are very entertaining to me, just because they're kind of stupid and it's funny. Also, I really like how Frank uses his experience and knowledge about the railroad and trains and his years of experience to help stop 777. I really like the relationship between Frank and Will, and how in the beginning they were kind of like at each other, but like they were just helping each other. But then towards the end, their bond really helped them form a pretty good friendship, which I really enjoyed. I always like things like that. Another scene I really enjoyed was the heartwarming scene at the end between Will and his family after he got off the 777 train and he hugged his son and wife, and I think that just is a very heartwarming scene. And I also like how towards when they're trying to stop the train, Will actually has the idea to stop the individual cars on the 777 train, and Frank goes out and stops, and it does slow down, but they still have to make it around the Stanton curb thing, and they do. And then towards the end, Will jumps into the welder's truck, and he goes to the front of the train and is able to get aboard and stop it. And I love how everyone involved in trying to get this train to stop, they all work together, and eventually the train does stop. I also really like the end where everyone's together and how Connie hugs and kisses Frank and Will for saving them. I also really like the closing credits, what they usually have in like a documentary type thing is like where the people are. They kind of have that, and it's really funny how like the guy who couldn't stop the train, it's like he works at McDonald's now. I found that really funny. And then everybody has like higher up jobs, and it's a really cute part, and like that, I love that scene part. And that's all for this episode. So tell me if you guys have seen this movie and liked it, and if so, your favorite parts. So join me in 2 weeks for a special Halloween episode where I'm going to talk about the movies Halloween Town and Mostly Ghostly. So until then, have fun, enjoy life. See you in 2 weeks. Bye.